Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Shipra Academy's webinar on Certified Internal Auditor Game Changer. A lot of participants have joined and a few more are going to join. So let's give a minute or two. And thank you for joining time on a Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Let's give a minute or two for others to join. Okay, let's get started. A very good morning to everyone. A wonderful Sunday morning, and thank you for taking your time to upskill yourself with Certified Internal Auditor credentials. So let's look at what is CIA and how is it going to benefit each one of you. So we are presenting from Shipra Academy. We are the authorized learning partner with the Institute of Internal Auditors India, the learning partner. And I am personally Solepan Kabali, a chartered accountant, CIA, CISA, and few more certifications. So I have 2 decades of experience in internal audit and risk management across consulting, Deloitte, Ford Motor Company, traveled across 15 different countries for the purpose of audit, and have 8+ years of teaching experience across colleges like Loyola, Stella Maris Etiraj in Chennai, and even lovely professional university during COVID time online, and various academies. And now I've started the Academy, Shipra Academy, primarily focusing on internal audit, CIA. We see that there is a gap between the industry and the people's credentials with the internal audit profile. So a lot of people are looking to upskill themselves, and we need to make sure that there is a huge number of people who are qualified internal auditors with international certification. So to bridge the gap, we have a singular dedication for CIA from Shipra Academy. Okay. So what is internal audit? For people, there are college students also join this particular session. So what is internal audit? Internal audit is the independent and objective focused consulting activity. And it is the organization's third line of defense. What is the third line of defense? Before something goes wrong, first thing is the management or the team has to capture that. And if not, then the second line, which is the risk management, will have to capture. If not, finally, the third line of defense for the organization is the internal audit team. They will have to arrest any kind of issues or risk. So that is why it is third line of risk. An internal audit is an unbiased review of internal control system process and procedures. So a lot of you might know about this independent assurance. So what are the benefits of internal audit? It's adherence to the controls, what is set in the company, and compliance with the policies and procedures, enhanced risk management, and it also mitigates fraud. It doesn't give 100% assurance, it mitigates fraud, and it provides the process efficiency. So these are all the benefits of internal audit. And now why an internal audit is required for a company in India. So here you go. It is required for a company in India because from a Companies Act point of view, any company which is having more than 200 crore turnover, either it's a listed company or public company without listing or a private limited company, should have an internal audit team. And who can be that? Chartered accountant or cost accountant or such other profession. So CIA is the best qualification across the globe. So it qualifies as under the such other professional. So it is required in each and every company which is crossing 200 crore turnover, whether it is in the industry of reality sector, construction, manufacturing, or automobiles, or service sector, banks, or any kind of goods or services. All industries requires internal auditors as per the statute. So which is the 200 crore turnover requirement. So now coming back to IIA, Institute of Internal Auditors US is providing the certification. You can see across the globe, the map shows 70,000 members in North America. So it's a prestigious certificate. I'll tell you, I am actually a qualified CIA and I joined Ford Motor Company. For that reason, my name was there, put up in the golden plate in the headquarters of Ford Motor Company. Whoever is there in the team who are qualified CIAs, their names will be put in the golden plate. So it's a prestigious certification. Why is it put? Anybody visiting the office looking at the internal auditor or the chief audit executive office, they will know that there are so many qualified auditors, internationally qualified auditors working in the team. So that is the primary reason why CIA certificate is called as a gold standard in internal audit. And last year, the Golden Jubilee celebration was celebrated across the globe, including in India. In New Delhi, I participated in the celebrations in 2024. So what do you understand by this? This is not a new certification. It might be new for some people, but it is not new in India. Even in India, people have done it 30, 40 years ago. I have done the certification personally in 2010, which is 15 years ago, and it was sponsored by Deloitte. When I was working with Deloitte, they sponsored. Why Deloitte sponsored, or why a lot of organizations sponsors, Big Four sponsors, banks, MNCs, and a lot of companies sponsor their employees to do the certification. So they know the value of the certification, that is why they are sponsoring. You might have an inquisitive question as to why a company might sponsor an employee to do a certification which is costing in dollars, thousands of dollars. So why they might, what is the benefit they might be getting out of it? So the prime benefit, what they might get out of it is that they have an internationally qualified auditor. So their team will have a proper skill set to do audit. If they want to showcase their internal audit report to others, external auditors and other people, they will assess the qualifications of the internal auditor. This qualification, the best qualification for that. So they'll be able to substantiate that. Even if they want to go for, funding and other places, they'll be looking at the internal auditor's report and they would assess the quality of the internal audit team and the competencies of the internal auditors in the team. So for that, it is required. Look at from an organization like Deloitte or Big Four or consulting companies, why do they sponsor? And in addition to all these things, they have an additional benefit is that they can say that we have 50 internationally qualified auditors in our team and they're going and pitching for their client. So when they do that, their clients get impressed by that number of qualified people in the team. So that is the reason why the Big Fours and consulting companies and banks also sponsor this particular certification course. So right now the course is having like say 245,000 members. IA is having 245,000 members or 245,000 members across the globe. You can see it is spread across US and even in India, and like say Asia Pacific is I think 43,000 plus members in 23 affiliates, and you can see that in South, like say in Africa, Europe is having a bigger chunk of 53,000 plus members. So you can see that it is spread across the globe. And if somebody is doing a CIA certification in India, you can write the exam in India. That's a benefit. Even in Chennai or Delhi or Bangalore, whichever city you are located at, you can go to a Pearson VUE center and write the exam. And the qualification of the certification is valid across the globe. A lot of people get jobs in Middle East and other countries because right now Middle East is having the focus on quality of their auditors, and their banks are mandating people to become a qualified auditor, and this is the best qualification for them. Even I see that accountants are coming to us to do a CIA qualification because a lot of localization and romanization or other requirements are pushing them to get some extra qualification to prove that they are able to stay in their job in that particular country. So it's gaining a lot of momentum across Middle East. They have formed a lot of affiliates within the Gulf countries itself. And even in India, you can see that a lot of job descriptions are coming with the CIA qualification is mandatory or is it required in the internal audit or risk management profiles. So 200,000 plus people are awarded CIA and 170 plus countries or territories are being covered. Moving forward. So as I told you, it's from 1974. And why you become certified, as I told you, for an individual, we spoke about for a company, what is the benefit? And for you as an individual, it is your credibility. See, some people come to me saying that, sir, I have 7 years, 8 years experience in a bank as an internal auditor, but I'm not getting promotion because I am a CA interqualified, or I couldn't complete CA. So I'm looking for a certification. CIA is the best fit here because I'm into internal audit. So once they get the qualification, then their credibility increases and they get promotions and other, like say, acceleration in their career. So credibility, capability, their skill set, they'll be able to understand the international auditing standards, the IPPF, and the GIA's Global Internal Audit Standards. Their knowledge increases, competency increases, and commitment to the profession increases. Somebody is a chartered accountant who can do multiple things, variety of things from external audit to internal audit to accounting to finance to management accountant to various skill set, taxation. So how do you showcase that you are committed to internal audit? By doing the certification, people show that they are committed to internal audit. They have got the international certificate. So even chartered accountants do this course to upskill themselves and showcase their specialization, similar to what doctors do after MBBS as MD or other qualifications. Okay, internal audit responsibilities in any organization or industry anywhere in the world. It shows your knowledge, skills, and competencies. So what kind of role you will get once you pass the exam? So you can see that one side you can go to the industry. Industry we mean to say an MNC or kind of private companies or public companies, and you can get jobs in their digitization team, IT risk management team, GRC team, governance, risk and compliance, or TPRM, which is third party risk management or compliance, cyber security, enterprise risk management, and then AML, anti-money laundering, and internal audit, of course. And if you look at consulting or Big Four, so you can draft SOP, standard operating procedures, business excellence teams, intelligent automation team, business process reengineering team. There are n number of teams there. We have just listed a few, for example. And you can also do work as a freelancer once you gather good amount of experience. I'm a freelancer for many number of years after I quit corporate and I started teaching and a freelancer. I do work for US companies and other countries. As a freelancer, the CIA certification is going to help me show the credibility in my area as well as the experience which I've gathered through working with different companies. So you can do internal audits, due diligence, SOX, fraud, forensics, concurrent audits, or IFC, like say internal financial controls, and all these TPRM also I used to do as a freelancer. So all these are mix and match. It can be in any kind of a wing, but you get jobs in industry, you get jobs in Big Four or consulting, and then you can be your own boss by becoming a freelancer. Why do you need to do CIA? Okay, this is not the statistics given by us. It's given by Wiley Efficient Learning, which is a material provider for international exams like CPA, CMA, and other courses, and CIA as well. So they say $85,000 is the average salary in USA and in 10 lakhs around in India. So career acceleration, comprehensive knowledge, and it increases the earning potential by as much as 43%. So somebody who is not a qualified auditor, and after they get the qualification of CIA, I have personally seen the jump in my students' profile as well. Somebody who was having 5-6 years of experience and got into the bracket of 11 lakh, 12 lakhs as a salary, and just completing CIA and started searching for jobs, and then they were able to get 20 lakhs easily. So it's quite easy to get your hike by showing this particular certification. And prestigious credential for the employment market, and it improves your audit skills and knowledge, earns greater credibility and respect in your field, and you will be able to network with global professionals because a lot of conferences happens in India itself where foreign professionals used to come and participate. This year I participated in the Mumbai conference, which is an international conference where a lot of colleagues from US had traveled, the US IAA CEO and the other board members had traveled, the people who are setting the exam papers had traveled. So a lot of global professionals you will be able to network through these kind of conferences, meetings, and webinars, and you will be able to get access to, once you become a member, you will be able to get access to the IA Global Network, where there will be a lot of sessions and networking events and other things will happen. You'll be able to collaborate with them through online meets or maybe through physical conferences. Career opportunities, sample list of companies given here, all the Big Four you can see. Capgemini, Credit Suisse, all the banks, Barclays, Standard Chartered, even Standard Chartered Bank or Barclays used to sponsor, even now they are sponsoring people who are doing CIA. So a lot of banks sponsor, because in banks there will be a lot of compliances and a lot of regulations to be followed. So they want the gatekeeper, which is either the internal auditor or the risk manager, to ensure that they are able to comply with all these regulations and requirements. For that, they wanted a qualified person who is a certified internal auditor here. So you can have 900 plus testing centers across the globe. In India, it is there in all top tier cities, metros as well as larger cities, it is there, and 170 plus countries. Moving down. So how do I do CIA? So now I understand that all these are, a good credential, and CIA is definitely a requirement for me to do. Now, how do I do it? So it depends upon the level where you are in terms of your career or in terms of your qualifications. So the path one is for a person who is a chartered accountant or a CISA, or it can also include, qualified accountants like ACCA and also CPA and other international accounting qualifications. So for those people, enroll in the CIA challenge exam and get the study materials, do the coaching with us for 50 hours, and then schedule and pass the single exam, which is 4 slots only available annually. Verify the work experience and get certified. It's a single exam, but still you need to do all 3 exams what a normal graduate will do. So I understand that in this group there are limited, chartered accountants or CISAs who were there. So I'm not going to focus much here. And also this is quite challenging. That is why it is called as a challenge exam, because once you register within 2 months or 4 months, you need to complete the exam. You need to be geared up with all 3 subjects, all 3 parts, and make sure that you are writing the exam and passing within 3 to 6 months. And it also costs a little bit more compared to your normal 3-part exam. So that's why let's focus more on the 3-part exam. Part 2, for any graduates in any discipline, it's not required. You need to be a BCom, BBA. You can be a BSc, you can be a BA, any kind of discipline, or even an engineer, or engineers are doing it right now. So enroll for the CIA 3-part exam, get the study materials. Study materials you need to get it from GLIME. GLIME is the authorized learning partner for IAA India as a study material partner, and with Shipra we are also like say authorized to provide you the GLIME materials. Instead of you going and buying it, we will be able to procure the GLIME materials and provide it to you as part of the coaching itself. Devote the study hours, 100 plus hours of classes, schedule and pass all 3 exams within 3 years. 3 years is the maximum time limit which the IAA has given, but people are generally passing on an average of 6 to 12 months. Then you need to showcase your work experience and get certified. So what is the third path? Even a 12th standard student can get into CIA. That's a very recent change. And from this year, earlier it was a separate exam called as internal audit practitioner. Now still it is an internal audit practitioner as a separate certification. But the exam remains the same as a 3-part exam. In 3-part exam, you will do 3 parts, of which first part will be given for the IAP students. And they'll have to pass that first part. Then they can come and do the CIA second and third part. So the first part will become exempted. So they can do only part 2 and part 3 to get the CIA certificate. First, students who are doing their college first year, second year, they don't have a degree certificate. They'll register for IAP and do the CIA part 1 called as IAP exam. And once they pass that exam, they can do part 2 and part 3 coming under the part 2, and then they can become a CIA. So this will take an average of 12 to 18 months, but we have seen people who are following the path to have done in a span of 3 to 4 months or 5 months as well. I myself personally done it within a span of 3 weekends. On 3 Saturdays, I wrote the exam when I was working for Deloitte, and it is possible to do it much earlier. In terms of the coaching, we do it 1 month, 1 part, like that. Within 3 months, we'll be able to cover all 3 parts. It will be dedicated classes on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays timing 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and evening 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Same is the timing for Sunday as well. So we say that people who study the classes, go through the classes and take a break of a month or 2 to come back and do thorough revision and study and pass the exam. It is very difficult for them to get back on track, because most people are professionals who are dedicating time for studies, and after that when they take a break and then they come back, the entire subject looks new. So to avoid that, we made it as a focused classes, in the sense we dedicate that particular 1 month for that 1 part. The students are able to focus on the classes, and weekdays also they need to practice some questions, and weekends we'll also conduct mock test and mock exam. So with a dedicated focus, they'll be able to stay focused and pass the exam within a month or two instead of separately sitting and studying. It will never happen. I hope that is clear. And what is the course syllabus? Internal audit fundamentals. Okay, is a part number 1. So what are all the topics in there? Foundations of internal auditing, and what is ethics for internal auditor. Ethics is very, very important for internal auditor. Ethics is a pillar on which every auditor is standing on. If there is no ethics, then there is no audit field at all. So that's why ethics and professionalism. What is GRC? Governance, risk management. Generally, GRC stands for compliance, but here we call it as control. So what is an internal control? How it helps the organization? And then fraud risk. And how do we mitigate the fraud risk? Or as an auditor, what is our role there? So all these things are the foundations of internal auditing, or the fundamentals. These all will be covered in part 1. And part 1 exams will be 125 MCQs, and the time allocated for exam is 150 minutes, which is 2.5 hours. So basically what we are saying here is that each question's timing allowed is 1.2 minutes. Either you take part 1 or part 2 or part 3. Everywhere the time is same, 1.2 minutes. The questions might vary. Somewhere it is 100 questions, somewhere it is 125 questions. So now the point is the questions going to be easy? Is it easy to pass the exam? So now once you go through all the courses and ensure that you are thorough with the concepts, so we'll be giving you GLIME materials as well. So GLIME will have 1,000+ questions for each part. You need to go through that as well. So the more and more you practice the questions, you'll be able to pass the exam. And what is the passing score required? 600 out of 750, which is a scaled score. The 125 questions, they will convert it to 750. So what is the weightage given for each question? Nobody knows. And what is the weightage given here? You might have a question. This is about the topic. And these are also not 100% adhered to. We have seen people, students saying that some areas are tested more. So these are all thumb rule. But as an auditor or as a student of CIA, what we should be doing, we should have thorough understanding of all the concepts. Once you are very clear about all the concepts, then the question will come with scenario-based questions. Generally, it will be few lines. You'll have to read the question and select one of the 4 choices given, and make sure that we are able to score more than 80% thumb rule. Okay, 600 out of 750 is 80%, but they do a scale score. It is a percentile, or there is some computation behind that. We don't know that, and we don't want to get into that, and it is difficult to understand that. But what is that we need to know is that roughly about 80% plus is what we need to score. So if I give the same question paper to the people who are working in companies in the internal audit, right now they'll be able to score 40, 50% or 60% easily. But that 50 to 80% jump is going to be an uphill task, because the questions will be tricky. A question will have 2 similar answers, or like say 2 close answers, very difficult to choose. So even material providers say that even if I give my book, you read the book 100% and go and write the exam, there is no surety that you will pass the exam. So what do they mean is that they say that it is upon your efforts, your knowledge in terms of doing that MCQs again and again, and see how the questions are tricky and how you need to choose the answer, how you need to eliminate a particular answer. That is what is going to decide how we are going to score in the exam. And also the time factor is also tricky, just 1 minute or 1.2 minutes per question. So what we suggest is that have 1 minute as a standard, so that last 20-25 minutes you have it for your revision. So you can flag your answers and then go back to the question paper and see that flagged questions again and review it and then resubmit it. So this is how the questions and the question pattern works. And how do you write the exam? You need to go to the exam center. Like say, you need to first register the exam any time of the year for part 1, part 2, part 3. Unlike challenge exam is limited to 4 particular months, but part 1, part 2, part 3, any time of the year you can schedule the exam and go ahead and write. It is like you're booking your bus ticket. Go there and see whether the slot is there. You can book it and then you can go ahead and write the exam in that particular exam center. And when is the results announced? The results are announced the next minute. The moment you get out of that room, in the hall, there will be an administrator who will be printing out the result and giving it to you, a hard copy printout, which will tell whether you have passed or not. So if you have passed, it will just come as passed. If you have not, then it will come with the areas where you need to improve. And what is your score? For people passing, the scores are also not coming in the answer in the printout. Okay, what is the next part? The next part of the second subject is internal audit engagement. Internal audit engagement means how to do internal audit. This is what, so the first part is more about theoretical, more about what are all things there, what are all jargons there about internal audit, what we need to know, the basic understanding. That is why it is given even for a 12th standard student can do it. They need to understand the basics. What is part number 2, which is internal audit engagement? Engagement means the specific audit which you are doing, the audit engagement or audit, like say the specific audits. So this is like, how do you do the audit? How do you plan the audit? That is getting a 50 percentage weightage here. And information gathering, analysis, and evaluation, which is getting another 40 percentage. And engagement, supervision, and communication, getting a 10 percentage weightage here. This exam is only for 100 questions, so 120 minutes. So 2 hours exam. So how do you plan the audit? How do you perform the audit? How do you gather the evidences? How do you analyze the evidence? How do you evaluate? All these are skill set. For a person from college, they need to develop their skill set is what every person, every other, speaker or their faculties or their industry connect. People are saying that knowledge from college is not sufficient. You need to improve your skill set. So this is where the skill set is all about. How do you perform audit is actually a skill. How do you gather the information? How do you evaluate it? How do you, independently validate it with objectivity? So all these are skill set, and the skill set are taught in part number 2. This will include a little bit portion about IT, information technology and information security, and a little bit about accounting as well. Earlier in the old syllabus, so the syllabus has changed recently in May 2025, 28 May 2025. So in the old syllabus, there were a lot of topics on IT in part 3 and a lot of topics on accounting. To be precise, there were 8 or 9 chapters in accounting and 4 or 5 chapters in IT and IT security. But all of them have now, from part 3, they moved it to part 2. And part 2 becoming a lengthy chapter. From a GLIME point of view, it is a 14 chapter. Comparison, part 1 is 10 chapters, part 2 is 14, and part 3 is the smallest one, which is only 6 chapters. So part 2 is lengthy because we are going to analyze how to perform an audit, and including information security, information technology, and accounting, all aspects, including how to supervise the engagement and how to communicate. So everything is there. So it is going to be very interesting subject, but it will be a little bit lengthy compared to the other parts. This is going to give you the skill set as to how to do the audit. And part 3 is about the internal audit function. Function, we mean the department. So how to operate the internal audit department? The chief audit executive, what is his role? So he has to prepare the internal audit charter, get it approved from the board, and all those things will be covered in the internal audit operations. And then how the internal audit is planned for the entire year. If I give you an example, when I used to travel across the globe, by the month of November itself, I'll get the next year audit plan. As an individual auditor, which in all countries I need to travel, 4 weeks to US, come back 1 week in India for reporting, and then again go 5 weeks to China, and then come back 1 week in Chennai or India for reporting, and then go to like say Germany for 3 weeks, come back 2 weeks in India, and then like that the entire calendar is given 1 year in, like say, before the start of the year. So that kind of detailed planning has to be done. How the planning has to be done, how do you select the resources for that, everything will be discussed in the internal audit plans. And quality of the internal audit function is also very, very important. QAIP, we call it, quality of the internal audit function. We go and check as internal auditors whether every department is doing the job as per their process, as per the company policies or not. Somebody has to check us as internal auditor. That is what is the quality check. So the quality check will ensure that the internal audit reports are being delivered with good quality, so that everybody is recognizing the internal audit report and taking actions on it. So for that, inside the QIP itself, there is a requirement saying that the internal auditor should be qualified. So that qualification is primarily the CIA. That is where it is linked to it. So the companies which are getting themselves QIP certified from IAUS or from Big Four, they'll be looking for qualified auditors in their team. If they are not having qualified auditors, they'll not be able to get a report saying that they are complying with all the standards of the IPPF standard, the global internal audit standards. And then finally, the engagement results and monitoring, which is given a higher weightage here of 45%, means how do you write your report? how do you communicate it short, crisp, at the same time it should convey the message, what you should do, whom you should distribute the report, everything will be discussed here. And after giving the report also, what kind of monitoring should be done. So in essence, part 1, 2, and 3 is going to cover a lot of topics. All is related to internal audit in depth and in detail. Okay, now let me pause here. Okay, let me just go through it quickly so that everybody is able to understand first, and then I'll open the session for some questions. Okay, this is a particular article from the Internal Audit Today, the journal published by IA India, and Mr. Rangan Chatterjee has reported saying that CAA course taught him the importance of practical understanding and correlating the concept with the real world experience. So once you join the academy for classes, the classes will not go like this as a webinar. It will be a meeting where it will be like a workshop model. We'll be discussing and deliberating. There will be people who are joining in from Big Four. There will be people joining in from various industries, from audit firms, students, and a lot of different people will have different types of questions and queries. It is not that only I am going to answer as a faculty. I'll also call for other people to answer so they can share their knowledge and experience. It will be a wonderful sharing and learning for people. So it's not only about passing the exam. When you join this particular batch, you'll be able to get more knowledge about what's happening in the industry and network, and also find jobs also. I've seen a lot of my students have got jobs through the networking happening through in the classroom sessions. We have physical classroom as well as the online webinars, sorry, the online sessions. So both the networking happens in the both way, because we don't conduct classes in such a manner that it is only a monologue. It's a workshop model, so everybody's face has to be visible and people will be easily able to network. We do it like, say, give a real classroom experience even in the online sessions. So by that way, it gives more practical understanding of the concepts. And what else Rangan is saying, he's already a qualified CA, but still he worked with the internal audit and SOX department. So he wanted that CIA qualification helps his work on a day-to-day basis. Okay, and skeptical mindset and interacting with people. A lot of benefits you get out of internal audit. That's what he's talking about. Okay, in terms of once I've completed the course, will I get a job? So for people from colleges, they might have this kind of a question. And people who are working in industry, they might think whether is this particular profile is interesting, because a lot of people change from accounting and other profiles to internal audit. They'll be skeptical whether there is a job market which is having a lot of jobs, whether the market is hot or not. So if you like say a few moments ago, we actually collected some data from LinkedIn, Glassdoor, and Naukri. Just by typing the word certified internal auditor or internal auditor, you can see that Goldman Sachs, EY, BSI, Qualcomm, EY, Mahindra and Mahindra, every company, Ankura Hospital, and a lot of different companies are requiring internal auditors. If you follow me on LinkedIn, Solapan Kabali, you can see that I'm also sharing a lot of internal audit related profiles. Whoever is sharing, I'm resharing or commenting on them. You can go ahead and check it out for yourself, or you can do this search for yourself and you can find that how many jobs are there available. Okay. So this is about our infrastructure in Chennai, in India. So this is our training rooms, and we have for students to study as well, and some library is also there. So we are actually part of a CA firm and a consulting company, and as an extension, we have opened up this academy to make sure that we are able to train people and also observe in our company as well as place them in our peer, our colleagues, companies, and other places as well. So a quick profile for you to just quickly observe, and then I'll just move forward. So this is myself, and this is my partner Vinay. He also takes classes. And just moving forward, the other people who takes classes. And just how does a question looks like? So just given a sample question, according to the IAS guidance, the Institute of Internal Audit guidance, independence of the internal audit activities achieved through which of the following, whether it is staffing and supervision or continuing professional development, the CPE parts, what we get, and the due professional care, the human relations and communications, or organization status and objectivity. So just take a guess of what you think might be the answer. I'll give a few seconds. And the answer is D, because the practice advisory 1110 says that organizational status and objectivity permits the members to be impartial and unbiased judgments only when they are having a proper organizational status and objectivity. I'll give you an example. And I used to work for a particular company where we take, audits, go there and sit with the team and ask for the data. They'll say that go and come back after a week or two. Okay, that is a kind of recognition given to the auditors because they are not placed high. The internal audit team was reporting to the CFO, which is again organization status wise. The standard says that the internal audit head should report to the board directly, so that the status is given at the top level, so that nobody else can influence them. So otherwise, the CFO might say that don't go and audit this team; they are busy. Don't do audit here; there are a lot of issues. So you might not say that. So all these objectivity will be lost. So to avoid that, the internal audit team should be highly placed above everyone directly to the board and audit committee. So that is where these things come from the standards. A lot of Indian companies have actually a different kind of reporting. So only when we go through all these standards, we know that, oh, okay, for our company, okay, this is not right. That's why we are not able to get that right level of this thing. So in terms of internal audit, you need to choose your company which is following these kind of standards so that you really see that the value is being added when you do the work. Otherwise, what will happen? You keep doing the work. Finally, I've seen that there are audit reports which has like say 15 to 20 comments or audit points. When it got finally published, only 5 was published because somebody influenced it, because they are not reporting to the board or audit committee. They are reporting to some other management in between, and they wanted to remove them out. So they delayed the audit report within that time. They closed all the audit points, and then they asked them to remove the points and publish it. So all these things will, not look good, and as an internal auditor you will feel that your work is going to the drain and it's not finding the right level of respect and value add to the company. So that's why you need to look at organization status and objectivity. So all these things we'll be reading as part of the standards. There are a few more questions. In the interest of time, I'm just going to skip that and let's move forward. Okay, so now what you need to do to become an internal, like certified internal auditor. So unlike chartered accountant course, you complete the CA course, then you become a member. Here in IAA, it is something like you become a member first, and then you can pursue the course. So you get all the membership benefits by paying the membership fee. Like you can attend the webinars, at least 1 or 2 webinars will be conducted free of cost every month by IAA India, and there will be a lot of other resources, and there will be a WhatsApp group and community, and there will be a lot of conferences happening across the country. Members will have a discounted price. So all those benefits will be available, and there are a lot of travel portals also. They are tied up now, IA India. So I've used it, yatra.com. So we'll be getting some concessional prices there. So a lot of different benefits will come as a member. So what is the membership fees? As an individual, you need to pay 4,500. And if you are a first time member, you need to pay 2,000 rupees extra as a registration charges. So 6,500 plus GST, roughly about 7,600 or 700 odd, you need to pay to become a member. And if your company is sponsoring, this is 45,000. And student members, if you are a college student, then it's only 2,500 plus GST. And even now they are looking at to make it zero here. So the IA US is saying that we are giving free student membership. Now IA India is looking to see how best we can give it free to the students and implement that global policy in India as well. So our students are part of that experiment to see whether we can get a zero cost for student membership. Okay, so now, yeah, you can see that 2,000 will be applicable as a first time registration fee. All these are coming from the website iaindia.co. So first thing is membership. After you become a member, what you need to do? So in terms of US IAA, theiaa.org is what you need to go there. You'll get a membership number here, which will come as a GAN number, global account number. Based on that, you need to create a login ID in US theiaa.org, and there you need to go ahead and pay the application fee $90. And after GST, even in the US website now GST is applicable, so it is $106.2. And every time when you are ready to write the exam, the dollar fees you need to pay for the exam, 232.5, 210 or 210. All these fees you need to pay at the time you are ready for the exam. All these things are not paid at one shot. And ensure that, make sure that you are, this is not going to be the final number because taxes is a bigger portion, which is about 18% GST should be added. So it will come about, add some another 15,000 around to it. So that will be the total cost. And this is all not paid at one shot. As I said, first you need to become a member. There's at 6,500 plus taxes. And then you can pay the application. So once you pay the application, you need to submit your documentation about your degree certificate or post graduation certificate. So after that, you will become a CIA student, and after that, you need to apply for part by part exam. One important thing to note here is that you can write any part in any order: part one first, part two second. No, not required. You can directly write part two first, and then go for part three, and then come back to part one if you are a graduate. Only if you are a student, then you need to go first for part one, then you can do anything else. So basically, all three parts are independent of each other. There is no requirement that you need to follow the sequence. And so this is what is the US fees, and you can see that IIM members, India IIM members pay only 742.5. This is the number here, instead of 1515 plus taxes. If you are a non-member, you will have to pay 1515. So you can see that roughly about $772 you are saving just by paying 7,000, 8,000 rupees as a membership charges. So that is why it is always ideal to become a member first, and each year you will have to renew the membership as well for IA India. The second year onward, the 2,000 fees will not be applicable, so 4,500 plus taxes you will have to renew it every year. So you'll get the membership benefits by attending the conferences, webinars, pre-webinars, and other things there. Okay. Okay, in terms of course offering, you can see that we do classroom sessions and online, both together, weekend classes. There's something missed here, okay. Session recording, so if you are missing a class, a particular day or time, then you'll be able to get the session recording as well for a limited time so that you go through it and come back before the next class. We'll have a CIA community, and it's a very vibrant community. A lot of questions are being asked, even jobs are being posted there and transferred. So people are able to, very well utilize the community, and questions especially take screenshot and put it in the community. It's being answered by my students or people who have passed CIA or by myself within a short span of time. And then mentoring sessions for exam strategy, there will be a dedicated workshop where we'll be going through the mental block or mind block, because what we see historically is that students are not able to pass the exam, not because they don't know the particular subject or technical topic. It's primarily because at that particular moment they are mentally disturbed, or they are losing confidence, or they are not able to study because of office or because of work, whatever. So based on all these stuff, people are losing exams, so we prepare them for the exam strategy, where people will come out and say that I'm not getting time from office, how do I do it? So we do a lot of NLP techniques, neuro linguistic programming, which is from the, as a certified life coach, I'm able to deliver that session, and people are able to gain confidence. You'll be having a lot of daily practices and rituals to do to stay focused on the exam, so that within a short span of time people will be able to pass the exams. So mock exams every weekend, like say 20 mark mock test will come, and once the subject is over, you'll get a mock exam. At least 5-6 mock exams will be there. Left, right, and center mock exam over mock exam. It is up to you to get benefit out of it. Not only from Gleim, we have additional databases as well, through which you will get fully trained with the mock exams. Live query sessions, you can anytime ask questions during the classes. It's not like this webinar where I'm only talking. It is going to be a live query session during the classes, as well as feel free to put the questions in the group. I'm going to answer. And Gleim ebook, which is costing roughly about $500 if you go and buy it from Gleim, is also given as part of the course itself. So that $500 itself will cost roughly about $500 plus add GST. That itself will be roughly about 50,000 plus. Okay. So what did our students say? I'm just passing here for a moment. You can see that people who have attended the classes, and most of them have passed the exams. People from Barclays to NIUM, AU Small Finance Bank, and audit firms. So a lot of support will be provided until you pass the exam. That's the most important thing as a professional who has to balance a lot of different things, needs the support, so which will be provided by our team and by myself personally. And you can see furthermore testimonials, and you can see people, all three parts they are able to pass, in a short span of time. And we had people from, Indians staying in abroad, students, they also studied this course. Okay, and Sugandhan is part of Wells Fargo, maybe that's missing here. And Abhiram also got job in Wells Fargo after that. Okay, so now the question is all about what is the fees. So each part, the fees is about 30,000 plus GST. And for people who are joining all three parts together, the fees is only about two parts. You pay the fees, which is 30 plus 30, 60. Third part comes free for you. So class timings, as I told you, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the evening. The evening classes will open the academy. People can come into the classes in Chennai and network. Otherwise, all the sessions are online. We can network in the webinars as well, not the webinar, in the workshop model classrooms as well. And morning session is online, evening, as I told, online plus classroom. Mandated to attend both the session, means morning and evening session. We complete 1 month, one part. So recently we have completed part 3. Now we are going to part 2. So the part 2 batch is starting actually on the next Saturday. So you have limited time. Make sure that you're utilizing the combo offers, and you can use this coupon code to book your seat. And if you have any questions, doubt, you can reach out to our team at 7200031432. And 18% GST will be applicable on all. So if you look at the Gleim material itself, is costing roughly about 50,000 plus. So right now the model, which is the offer which is provided, is very economical. Ensure that it's a limited time offer. You are able to book it and start your CIA journey. Okay. Now let's open up the forum for questions. So Rahel, can you open up the forum for questions? Or is there a Q&A section? Is there any questions? Okay, there are already some questions there. Okay, so let me answer them one by one. In India, how many CIA qualified members are there? CIA qualified members in, I'm not really sure about the count, but the conferences happens every year in every city, like say in Chennai, Delhi, Bombay, Hyderabad, Bangalore, every place. Minimum 300 to 400 people join the meetings, conferences. I'm not sure about the count. I think it's somewhere close to 10,000 or more. I'm not really sure about the count. Maybe you can check with the IA India. Okay, can CIA holder claim IAP certification for free as per new changes? What is your recommendation? Okay, CIA holder is basically something like you are a MCOM. Okay, and IAP is something like a BCom. If you are an MCom, already you are having that sufficient knowledge. It is not required that you need to claim the IAP certification. See, the IAP certification is primarily for people who are not having any other certifications and who are looking forward for this as a certificate from IA Global. So people who have completed part 1, but for some reason they are not able to complete part 2 or part 3, and they are searching for jobs. So to showcase themselves, they get a particular certificate by showing their part 1 certificate. I'm hearing some feedback. Maybe if you're not asking questions, you can go on mute. Okay. So let me go through the next question. Yes, as I told you, CIA holder is not required to get the IAP certification. You need to go through this application process and other thing. And everybody in the industry knows that CIA is more, the highest qualification in internal audit compared to IAP. IAP is for beginners who wanted to showcase themselves that they are into internal audit. So it's not required or recommended for a CIA holder to get the IAP certification. But for people who are midway through, they are actually looking to get a certification and then get a job. For them, IAP is very, very beneficial. And people who are from colleges, they first need to go through IAP and get the certificate. People who already passed, there were inquiries for us from different places, and people came to us saying 2019 I have completed IAP, or like say part 1, but part 2, part 3 I couldn't complete. Is it possible to get IAP certificate? Because I need some certificate. Yes, definitely possible. We connected them with the IA India through Chanchal, and Chanchal connected to the IA US, and they gave some guidelines as to how to get the certificate. They need to pay some fees as well for that and showcase their records, and then they'll get the IAP certificate. And after that, they can do part 2 and part 3 and pass the exam and get the CIA certificate as well. For challenge exam as well, especially for qualified CAs. Okay, wonderful. So for challenge exams, as I told you, it's a single part exam. So right now, the June window also, I think it's okay. It happens in the month of February. You need to register. You can write the exam in April and June. And in the month of September you need to register. Right now the next window is September. We are in July. So you need to register in September. You need to pass either in November or in the next February. So these are the last two exams in the old syllabus. See, the part 3 exam, the syllabus has changed in line with the new IPPF or GIS standards. New GIS standards were released last year, and in exam that is applicable from last month, from May end or June. So that is applicable in 3-part exam. But for challenge exam, what is the primary difference is that challenge exam puts all 3 parts together. And for a chartered accountant who already knows all the accounting concepts, they remove the accounting portion alone and maybe few other topics, and then they say that okay, 80 or 90% of all 3 subjects together, you do write this exam in single shot and pass the exam. So right now the syllabus itself is changed. As I told you, accounting is limited now, and information technology is limited now. So that is the reason why the IIA US itself is contemplating how to revise the challenge course. So they are saying that until next year February, the old syllabus of challenge is applicable. That means you will go through the same old syllabus of 2017 IPPF standards and the same old syllabus, and you'll be able to pass the exam. So very limited people are doing that. Instead of that, why generally people do challenge exam is that it is a single shot exam and then you get the certificate quickly. But we see that a lot of failures are also there in challenge exam. Even chartered accountants and CISAs and other people are failing. The primary reason is that too much of things to grab in a short span of time, and people underestimate the exams challenge, and they feel that I'm already a chartered accountant, already having 10 years, 15 years of experience, I can easily pass the exam. So with that mindset, people go and write the exam. Only 30% to 30 to 40% people are able to pass the challenge exam, and it requires a lot of dedicated preparation, classes, MCQs and other thing. If people are doing that, those 30% people are able to pass the exam. They are also the same score. 80% you need to score to pass the exam. So that is the challenge exam, and the challenge exam costing will be roughly about $1,000+. Here we saw $750+. There it is $1,000+. One shot you need to pay. You will get some material from IIA also, but in terms of, for some reason you are not able to clear that exam in the first attempt, you will have to pay same $1,000 or like say slightly less, $700+ you need to pay for reappearing. But in terms of 3-part exam, the benefit is that if you are not able to clear one part, you need to just pay $200 for that exam. So people think that 3-part exam will take 2 years to pass or 1.5 years to pass. It's not. Within 3-4 months, people can pass the exam. We are having the classes in such a manner. Within 3 months, we are completing the batch. So like say already we completed part 1 last month. Students have started to appear for the exam and started to pass the part 1 exam. And now people, next we took the smaller part, which is part 3. And now people are going to write part 3 in the coming week. People are registering for the exam. So we give 2 weeks of break between one part to the other part. Within that 2 weeks, we give a lot of mock test and exam and motivate people to write the exam. So don't worry, challenge exam is only shorter. Even part 3 exam, we can do it in a short span of time. And right now, we are not having a dedicated batch for challenge, but we have all our video recordings and other things, and you can come back with questions and other doubts. We'll be able to support you on that, or we can even put you in the live sessions as well. So that is for challenge exam. Any course for challenge exam for, okay, the same, I think I already answered that. Yeah, the course is primarily a video-based course. Right now we are giving for the challenge students. All our video recording dedicated for CA challenge is being recorded and given to students along with the GLIME challenge material. And you can go through that and come back with questions. We'll schedule, some sessions specifically for doubt clearing, and then we'll be able to guide you through the exam. I'm a CISA qualified and confused whether to take CA challenge exam or CA part 3. As I told you, even CISA people, the challenge exam is even more costly. It is roughly about $1,250 plus GST. And you can think about, see, if you are looking at one-shot exam, you can go for challenge exam. But you need to be fully prepared and make sure that the first shot you are going to clear the exam. Otherwise, you are going to spend much more time and efforts and money on doing it for the second time. And also right now we are in the last verge of completing the whole syllabus for challenge exam. If you miss a slot, you don't have a reappearing exam in the whole syllabus window. If you are already doing it and you want to clear it off, then definitely you take this exam in November or February and close it. You are somewhere halfway in the journey. But if you are starting fresh, my recommendation would be to go through the new syllabus of part 1, part 2, part 3 and quickly get the certificate, or wait for next year and see whether the syllabus, what they are going to come up with the syllabus, we are not sure. Let's wait and watch. And if I don't have a BCom degree, but I am a CA Will there be any issue in writing CIA exam? If you are a CA, you are eligible even for the challenge exam. And okay, for three-part exam, if you're asking, I think you can showcase your CA degree and say that you'll go through the three-part route. I think that is possible, but still we need to double check, because each and every certificate will be validated by the US team and they'll come back with queries and other things. So we can put it across to them if you have a specific request that to do three-part exam with a CA degree, because any other qualification is also okay. Any other, Madras University, or let's say the distance education degree courses is also acceptable. But if you don't have anything, then we can put CA as well, but we need to double check. I think it's quite possible. It's not an issue. Okay, good. I think some more questions have added. Okay, I have to write CA challenge exam in February 26. Then when do I have to register with IA and register for CA exam? Okay, generally the registration window for November and February opens in September. 1st September to 30th September, you need to register for the exam. You can write either in November or in February. But sometimes now, if you need to reappear, or sometimes, the windows are kept open for longer period, people are able to do it even in the non-window period, they are able to register. Exams are only in that fixed window of November and February, but registration is open. You can try it out in the IA website. If not, then wait. The actual official window opens in September. You can open that window in September and write for the exam. Okay. Anybody else has any other questions? Feel free to open up your mic and talk. I can open up your mic as well. Okay. So Rahel, you can check, open up all microphones. If anybody wants to talk, they can open up their mic and talk.
They are open to talk, sir. If they can unmute their mic.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Okay, anybody has any other questions? So, wonderful certification, gold standard. Make sure that you are taking your step immediately and join the batch. If you want to join the batch, which is starting on August first week, Saturday. So you will have to procure the material for GLIME from US. It will take few days time, so that from day one you are able to get your materials. Take action immediately and talk to Rahel. The number was given on screen, or maybe it will be put on the chat window as well. So you can talk to her and get your seat booked at the discounted pricing. Any other questions? Otherwise, we can close the session on time. Okay, there's one more question. Does the exam happen on fixed dates, or we have to choose a slot for an exam? You will have to choose a slot for challenge exam as well. Between 1st of that month to 30th of that month, you need to choose an exam slot. You can go and write any time of that particular month. It's not one day the exam center is open, you need to go and write. All days you can choose the exam slot. Okay, thanks for that question, Akshat. Any other questions? Let's wait for a minute or two. So even if you're not joining the course, feel free to join us in our social media profiles, especially in LinkedIn. You can see a lot of good posts we are posting related to jobs and new changes which are happening. Okay. So what will be the fee for CA challenge exam, GLIME material and video access? As again, the GLIME material itself will be roughly about $500. So that will also be included in the package. 30,000 plus GST is the charges for the video access for GLIME material and challenge exam videos. And you can talk to Rahel. She might talk to the CFO and see if there is any offers going on that. I'm not sure right now at that moment, at this moment. Okay. Any other questions? So follow us on LinkedIn and to get the latest updates on the course and the syllabus, on the industry, on the CIA or the internal audit fraternity. So appreciate all your time and staying till the end for 1 hour on a Sunday morning, and all the best for all the CIAs, and have a nice day, Sunday evening. Take care and enjoy. Real?